How's it going, everybody? Welcome back into the Ranger wrap up here on the Illuminerdi, where we talk about everything going on in the world of Power Rangers. I am Bryce West, alongside. You're not Larry. Who are
I
you?
am not Larry. I am that's who I am. I
Yeah,
am not Larry.
yeah. All right. Well, hey, not Larry. How's it going? Welcome into. This is Josh. He's here.
I'm here.
Larry
Yeah,
is
filling in,
not.
filling in. Yeah, Larry's busy at a convention having fun. Boo
Yep.
hoo. So sad for
Yeah,
him.
without us.
You
Yeah,
know.
in Ohio, so he's in the sticks right now.
Oh, well, maybe I'm
let's
not
give our
jealous
best
then.
wishes to. Yeah,
No
he's in the
offense to the
sticks
good
right
people of
now. So let's
Ohio.
give him our best wishes. Because he's in the wild wild west right now. So he's got to be careful. But welcome back into the show today, everybody. We've got an exciting one. This is episode 5. We're in the presence of a celebrity. This is Guys Grocery Games season 33 guest star
Yeah,
Josh Goldman with us on the
I am
show.
featured. I am featured in episode 7 of season 33. If you watch just after the cold open, just over Guy's left shoulder, you can vaguely
Wow.
make out a dude wearing a red shirt. It's probably me.
Oh. And it's a good thing red looks good on you because
Right?
that's your television debut. Well, your major
Sort. Yeah,
television
yeah, yeah,
debut.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
I've been on the
yeah.
news
This
for a
I mean,
couple of
this is
times,
your
but
big breakout role.
we won't talk about the news stuff that I was on because
I can't believe they made 33 seasons of that.
right. It's
Like, how long has that been going on?
so. God, this is so far off topic from Power Ranger stuff, but Guys Grocery Games has been it's only been on the air for 17 and a half years, but because of how they
Okay, so they do like 2 seasons a year.
yeah, it's like a lot of the other reality shows where
Yeah.
they do 2 seasons a year. Generally, it's like I think like 10 to 12 episodes. I don't remember what the early seasons were. I've only been working on the show since like season 30 or 29 30 somewhere around there.
30. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there we go. But yeah, so Guys Grocery Games exactly like Survivor.
yes, yes,
But
except with cooking.
but you know, yeah, Survivor, but with cooking. We got Steven Liston in the chat. How's it going, everybody? Welcome into the show. But yeah, we're not talking about Guys Grocery Games. We're gonna save that for another show.
Yeah, that will be the I'm sorry, I can't think of any good
What
like
just the
alliteration
Guys
for that.
Grocery Game wrap up or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah. I can't. I don't know.
But stay tuned for that. But today we got Power Rangers while we still can. And we're gonna be covering episode 5 out. This is sort of we're at the halfway point now. We're sort of kind of getting used to these old Rangers, but with their new powers. And we open up with the episode with Javi, still trying to become accustomed to his new arm. We got a photo of that. Um, and he
Can I ask you a
causing
stupid
a
question?
ruckus. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Javi lost his arm earlier in the season. I think that was what, like season episode 2, maybe
One.
one. It was
It
episode
was
1.
episode 1.
This whole season, like I watched it all in like one day, so it's like all
Yeah.
together. I rewatched today's episode like 3 times this morning just to focus in so I can actually talk about it. But now I know I was on like the Ranger wrap up when we were talking about In Space and Lost Galaxy and Time Force and all those. However, in Power Rangers Turbo,
Yeah.
The kid, I can't remember his name.
Justin. Yeah.
Justin, he was a kid, and then when he morphed, he grew into a full-grown adult. So if the morphing powers can make him grow up, why aren't they able to give Javi like a real arm again when he's morphed?
So as for the rest of the episode, I mean, it's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I guess.
I get it, but yeah. It just. I was just thinking about that when I was watching. I was like,
Justin, you could say. Yeah, I mean, I guess with Justin, you could say they were growing the limbs he already had.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so Javi no longer had an arm. So
Sure. Let's go with that.
so I don't know. But it's the villains go on TV or Space Television or whatever, and they're reporting to their Squid Ink followers that they have found the purple dragon Zord buried in the cave of this planet or whatever. And the Power Rangers is like, oh, that's no good. We gotta beat them to the punch. But they're gonna recognize them. They're gonna know what's up as soon as the Power Rangers show up. So they've got to come up with some disguises. You know,
I I liked the bit. Like it reminded me a lot
it was
of
fun.
like Scooby Doo or like Josie and the Pussycats, or I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember a cartoon called Jabberjaw about like a giant talking
No,
shark.
I've absolutely never heard of that. Yeah.
Man, I'll send you a link to that later. It's you don't need to watch it, but it's in that same vein where it's a bunch of kids with an anthropomorphic animal that go and solve mysteries or crimes or whatever.
Okay. All right.
And
Cool. I
but
guess.
because it was in that Scooby Doo, Josie and the Pussycats like era, it was always this the same kind of goofy stuff, and that's what like this episode specifically to me really felt like a Saturday morning cartoon. Like it felt like it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
fit well in that genre.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Yeah, I mean, it definitely had a lot of like this was I think the most comedic episode of this whole season for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with like the sort of musical numbers that they had. They even started singing in the Megazord, So yeah, I mean, all of that was really cool. But they go down to the planet. They're all disguised. Some of them a little more conspicuous than others. Zato, we got an image of that. Zato was just kind of like in his costume in a robe, kind of like Andros. It's like okay, I guess. I'm not doing a very good job here. I mean, I guess they succeeded. I guess I don't know, but
Let me see. I'm trying to pull up that picture myself now so that I can see it since
yeah.
I'm looking at the wrong stuff.
I mean, he's literally in like a tan robe, kind of like his ranger suit, and then and then you can literally see his mask like through like the hood of the thing or whatever. So it's just like okay, I mean, he looks cool in it, I guess, but yeah, not
Yeah.
very
Like it looked
inconspicuous.
good, but yeah, I mean he didn't really need to be though. Like for what he was going to, he just needed to get through that like first little thing, and then he was all
Yeah,
set.
but he didn't have to do that in his ranger costume. Like if they just take one look into the hood, they could see like a Power Ranger mask
Well,
on. Like
sure, but that's neither here nor there.
but yeah, so the other Rangers are in like sort of they've dressed themselves up as monsters, which I thought their disguises looked pretty cool. In fact, some of them use former parts from other costumes in past versions of the show, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, eventually they're caught pretty much almost immediately. They get to rock
Of
out for like a
course.
second, but then Ollie finds out that they're there. We got an image of him just because he looks cool. Um, you know, there's nothing new about this image, but his costume's just really cool. So I just figured we throw it up. But but yeah,
Okay, I've got another question about it. I'm gonna be
okay,
like if any of you guys watching remember from the earlier Ranger episode I was on, I was always asking stupid questions like this.
yeah,
But the whole reason that they brought Fern in was because they were afraid that Ollie would count them and realize that, oh, there's four of them. That means that they're the Rangers and one of them is missing.
yeah,
That's why she was there to count to the five. But
yeah.
he realized that it was them because there were five of them. He was like, one, two, three, four. Those are the
It's the
Rangers.
Power Rangers.
I mean, like obviously we were talking about the cartoon thing, and that's why the relationship to the cartoons is why they all wear the same colors as their suits, and they generally wear the same clothes.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. So I get that, but I also thought it was funny that all of their costumes were also the colors of their suits. So you could just be like, you could have also been like red, green.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the colors.
Yeah. Wait a minute, but no, but Fern was wearing purple. That's what it must
Oh,
have thrown him off.
she was, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Although
but yeah, no, I
her
mean,
sleeves are orange, like her orange sleeves
oh,
are.
okay.
Although
Yeah.
she's not the Orange Ranger yet, so that's not
Yeah.
really a thing.
Well, yeah, at this point she was wearing pink in the intro.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so that must be why. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, look, you know, not every plan works out, you know. I think you know that's the lesson to be learned today. Is you know, sometimes you come up with a plan, it doesn't work out, but you know, you got to adapt, move on, and you know, I think that's what the that's what the Power Rangers did here
I
today.
mean, it ended up working out in the end. They were able to
Yeah.
stall long enough that Zeta was able to get through to the Dragon Zord.
Yeah. But and then we also get I think one of the coolest shots in Power Rangers ever. This is our next image here. It's whenever they first morph and then the confetti blows up behind them. Like I just think that's such a really cool
Oh yeah,
looking
yeah.
shot. Yeah. Um,
Well,
I just absolutely love them, like they're rock stars with their weapons or whatever.
that's honestly that's one of the things about the season and Dino Fury really was that it seemed like they really stepped up the game with the actual look of the show. Most I know for the past few seasons the CGI has been looking better because it's been taking stuff from the Japanese show from the
Yeah.
Sentai, which has also obviously been improving over the past 30
Yeah.
years. But the new footage, the straight Americanized stuff, it looks good. It looks solid. Um, it looks like they're actually taking their time and not just like, oh, we just have to film 7 minutes of stuff to fill in between the fight scenes. They're actually taking
Right.
their time to make something that looks good too. And I like, as someone who works in the industry, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean the picture quality, cinematography, I think it's really great in this season. You know, I even like the suits for the most part. I mean, we've talked about the suits, you know, ad nauseum, so I'm not going to go into that whole discussion again. But you know, I agree. I think the show overall looks very good, and I think that image there is a true testament. I mean, it's one of my
Yeah,
favorite shots ever in the show. Um, so, but yeah, they're immediately figured out, and then Ern is just kind of like running away, and then Ollie thinks that she's Zato, you know, kind of uncovers her, and then
I found that hilarious
it turns
too.
out it's Fern. Yeah,
It's
we
like
got names in that, by the way.
Russell Curry is clearly much bigger than what's the actress name that plays Fern?
Jacqueline Joe.
Jacqueline Joe. Like they're
Yeah,
or Zato and Fern, like they're clearly different sized
yeah,
people. So
yeah,
if he had if he had pulled that off and it was Zato underneath, I would be like, wait a second,
yeah.
that's not right.
Yeah, but
Um,
once again, we see Ollie be kind of brutal. He almost
yeah,
like
yeah.
blows her head off. You know, and then she gets knocked down to the ground. He's like, "Oh my god," you know, whatever. And then Fern's kind of like, "Oh my god, I think I'm gonna need stitches," and then goes like, "Gotcha," or whatever. It's just like, okay, you could have like, girl, you could have like died, like you know, like you just got like shot at, and she's like, you know, joking around about it.
I like that that's like it's a play on like you know you see most of the time what you see is like the overprotective boyfriend
Yeah,
who's trying to make sure that his girlfriend isn't getting into trouble, and here uh yeah well because they're each other's girlfriends and that there's no boyfriend
yeah,
involved.
yeah,
It kind of changes up that dynamic a little bit,
right.
and I felt like that was really interesting and kind of fun to watch too because it's not something that you typically see in these kind of shows.
Yeah,
with
I mean, throughout the whole season, we see Izzy be very overprotective of her. Even somewhat whenever she becomes a ranger. I think it
yeah.
gets toned down a little bit whenever she becomes a ranger. But right at the in the first episode, she becomes a ranger. She's like freaking out, you know. Like what did you do, kind of stuff. And eventually she kind of just accepts it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that whole dynamic was done pretty well. It sounds like had they gotten the amount of episodes that they wanted, we were gonna see even more of that. I think, which would have been nice. But I think the little bit that we got here was still pretty
So
good.
how many episodes were they originally wanting for this? 20.
Yeah.
So would it have been like the same type of thing where it would have been a block of 10 and then another block of 10?
I don't know.
Or
We never got to see it, so
yeah,
um
right.
yeah. I mean, the writers and Netflix were okay with money. But Hasbro said, "F you, you get 10." So
Hasbro makes
yeah,
such. I mean, I can't just say it's just Hasbro because it's the entire entertainment like
yeah,
production studios right now that make like really weird decisions. This is a
yeah.
discussion for another for another show, but like the John Cena Wile E. Coyote versus
Oh
Acme
God,
movie that just got shelved. Like I don't
we could talk a whole hour on that. Yeah,
that yeah, I would love to because I could probably talk for hours about that, how stupid that is too.
yep,
But I feel like that this show, Cosmic Fury, only getting 10 episodes, and the reasons why it's only getting 10 episodes kind of plays into the same reason that that's been shelved. It's just like we're in this like really weird um transitionary period
yeah.
where the studios don't know what the audience wants, and the audience is very clearly telling the studios what they want, but for some reason they're not getting it. I don't understand it.
Well, I think with Power Rangers, the audience is very clearly telling, the studio or the company Hasbro what they want. But they aren't showing them what they want with their wallets. I mean,
Right, right.
Power Rangers has been such a niche brand for so long, and Lightning Collection was their main toy brand for the franchise. But since Power Rangers has been so niche for so long, it's really hard to get people to buy into these legacy characters that aren't being shown in the current TV show anymore.
Right. And I
Um,
get it.
yeah,
It makes complete sense their reasoning for doing the reboot.
yeah,
Because of that kind of stuff. I completely understand, and honestly, I think it's time for a fresh take on the franchise. It just seems like they're making they're making the right decisions, but in the wrong way.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
It's
I think, like killing everything here seems to be a little drastic. Especially since now we've had the writers and actor strikes. That I honestly, if we get the reboot, I don't even know. I doubt that it'll be ready by 2025, which was their original target.
I
Um,
mean,
you know,
that's still we've got 2 years until the end of 2020, like 2 years and 2 months
yeah.
until the end of 2025. So I could
Well, I mean,
see,
let's think about it for a sec, though. Like Superman Legacy comes
yeah,
out in 2025, and I believe that movie will be coming out on its targeted release date.
I think so
They've
too.
already got a script. They've
Yeah,
already got their cast. But
they've
Power
been in
Rangers,
they've
as
been
far
in
as we know,
pre-production.
had
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
I don't
so
know
they're
because we
clearly much
know.
further.
I know last I heard, and you can correct some of the information that I have, and then we can go back
Yeah,
to talking about this episode again.
yeah,
But last I heard with the Jonathan Entwistle thing, I know Brian Edward Hill, who was working on the script, finished his work on the script.
mhm,
Um, I know that the studio, whether it was Hasbro or Netflix, still wasn't sure what they wanted to do and if that's the direction that they wanted to go in. But
mhm,
if they were able to, in the next, let's say, 4 to 5 months, figure out what they're doing, since they've moved production out of New Zealand and they're now shooting back here in the States, if they decide to shoot here in LA
yeah.
or Georgia or wherever it is that they would rather shoot, I think they can make it happen.
By
It would be
2025,
time. it would
like
be a
maybe
tight
December
turnaround.
31st. Like,
It would be a tight turnaround, but I think I think they could do it.
All right, hold on. But here's the other question, and then we'll get.
Okay. Okay.
But do you think they could get it out by 2025 and have it actually be good?
Well, good is a subjective question.
I know it is.
So that, I mean, that's kind of hard to
I guess
answer.
quality maybe would
But
be a better.
yeah, I think so, because if it, like, look at it like this: Superman and Lois. We know that that's going into its last season right now.
Yep.
That just went through a ton of changes. They dropped like most of the main
Yeah.
cast members from it. The only people who are remaining are Superman, Lois, Jordan. What was the other son's name? Jonathan and John, and I don't remember what the other kid's name was. The one that actually has the powers. And the two kids. It's basically the main family.
John and Jordan.
And Jordan, yeah, and Lex Luthor, and everyone else is gone. So I'm assuming that they're moving to Metropolis, or back that they're going to move back to Metropolis
I think I heard about that. Yeah.
To explain why, because otherwise, if they're in Smallville, how are they going to explain why absolutely no one else is showing up? So they have to
5 of them living in like this
Smallville, and you don't see anyone else anymore that they used to interact with. So they need to build new sets for all of that. And they weren't really in production for a while because of the writer's strike. So I mean, that literally just ended a few weeks ago. So now they're back into production on that, and that's going to be ready to go sometime in 2024. So I think by the end of 2025.
That's also a TV show, though.
So is Power Rangers.
But not if they're doing this movie, right?
Oh, right. Well, wasn't it supposed to be both a movie reboot and a TV show reboot?
Well, I mean, the original idea. Well, I mean, I say original. One of the original ideas was for them to do the movie and then do the show.
Okay. So was the movie
would have to come first?
So the movie was going to be in continuity with whatever the new show is. It wasn't going to be like the 2017 movie, which was completely removed from everything on the TV side.
I mean, from what I understand, it's going to be completely removed from everything, but start its own universe.
Right. So it's sort of like Superman Legacy is doing.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
So, I think
except, yeah,
it's possible. They're on a tight timeline depending on what their target goal is. Like if they wanted like fall of 2025, I think if they started production at the sometime in the first quarter of 2024, I think they'd be able to make it happen. But that's a lot. That's a lot for them to do over the course of the next 6 months, though.
Yeah, I think I would much rather them
think it is enough time.
Wait,
yeah.
And wait till 2027. Make something actually good, and then so we don't have the brand just immediately die again. Like
right.
Yeah.
I guess I mean there's a lot of factors that are going to go into it. I personally think that they could do something that is good and is quality and that people would like within that amount of time. It just depends on how far into the process they are now and how good the stuff that they have now is. If they were starting completely from scratch, like as of today, then I think the end of 2025 would be like a long shot. But because they're already in the process of figuring it out, even if they're not happy with the current script that they have, I think they have enough time to get it rewritten, unless they're doing a whole new script. But I think they could do it. I'm cautiously optimistic that they would be able to get that done at that time. But let's get back to this episode though. That was a
right. Yeah. So we're actually almost done here. So eventually Zato is able to get his hands on the purple Dragon Zord, which actually looks pretty cool. We got a photo of him in the cockpit. It honestly kind of makes me wonder because what's kind of cool about this is the Dragon Zord become pretty much his primary Zord. He's the one that pilots it for the most part. I believe Amelia pilots it once too. But since they had him pilot the purple Dragon Zord, why didn't they just make him a purple ranger if they were going to change his color, and then that didn't have to have the controversy with the white or beige or whatever champagne they want to call it. Like I feel like it would have made more sense for him to become like the purple ranger here.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's because they were still limited by the Zords and everything that they had from which show were these from?
Q Ranger, the space,
Q
yeah,
Ranger.
the for Cosmic Fury, yeah.
But the costumes aren't the Q Ranger costumes though, right?
Correct. Yeah, so they could have made them, color.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I
And then
guess
especially, and since Ion primarily pilots the yellow Zord, why didn't they make him yellow? I don't know. It just kind of they didn't really try at all to make the Zords and the Rangers make sense at all.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand where you're coming from with that. It didn't bother me so much, just because
It
I'm
doesn't
not.
really bother me, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I get it.
I mean, because they had the because somebody at Hasbro didn't think it was a good idea to have Zato be the White Ranger. I'm not going to go into that whole conversation again. I'll let your imagination figure out why. But then they ended up making him the Champagne Ranger, basically making the color his exact same skin tone. Anyway, there was controversy there, with all that. And I feel like you know nobody's got purple skin.
Right.
So Ranger, if that was such an issue for Hasbro, I don't know. I think that whole thing is so silly. I don't know why they made such a big deal out of all that. I think he could have just been the White Ranger, or they wanted him to be the Silver Ranger at some point. That would have been fine too. I don't know what the whole
Right.
deal was with them with that, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if he's going to probably pilot the purple Zord and you're going to change his color, I don't know. I've maybe just make him the
Yeah,
purple
because
Ranger.
there was nothing like they didn't talk about why he was the color that he was. Like obviously we know that Amelia was red because she's the leader.
Yeah,
But they didn't really touch on, okay, well now he's a Morphin Master or whatever, so his color is this because
yeah,
they like we never got that answer. So I understand that that yeah.
yeah. So, but in the meantime, tracker on the purple Dragon Zord, so they can track them in the future. They form Megazord. They defeat the bad guy. They go back to Eridus. That's kind of the end of the episode. So, Josh, overall, what were your thoughts on Cosmic Fury episode 5?
I enjoyed it. I thought this was a solid episode. Like overall, I really enjoyed this season. I like what they did with it. I thought it was. People are probably going to hate me for this, but I thought it was a vast improvement over everything that I watched for the previous iterations of this show. I mean, I liked In Space.
Even like in space.
I liked all of those, but I think Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury both were paced a lot better than either of those were. Um, just because it's hard now. Cause like I obviously I remember the days when TV shows were like, like 22, 23 episodes each.
Yeah.
Coming home from school and watching cartoons after I got back, and like those seasons are like 40, 50 episodes because they were all Monday through Friday. So
Yeah.
like I
Well,
remember
so
that
was
from
Power Rangers. Yeah.
yeah. So I remember that, and I enjoyed watching those. But now, like when I go back and I try and watch TV shows that were like 24 episode seasons, it just feels like such a slog to get through. Now that I'm used to shows that are 12 episodes or 16 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Um. So now these two seasons felt a lot closer to what modern TV is like versus those being, products of their time, which obviously feel dated for numerous
Yeah.
reasons beyond just being,
Right.
like 22 or 26 episodes or whatever they were.
Yeah, you know what?
But
Those streaming companies, they got us. It's got to be 10 episodes or under. You
yeah,
know?
but even that feels that feels too short sometimes. Like I personally, I think
Yeah, it does.
like 15 to 16 episodes, I think would be a good point. Anything
Honestly, I
shorter
think
than
13. I think that's the perfect number.
even 13, I think would be good. But I think did you you're familiar with Siskel and Ebert, right? Like at least like
With
who
what?
they are. Siskel and Ebert, they're movie
I don't
critics.
know. No, I guess
So
not.
okay, so Siskel and Ebert, they used to have a show. They're the thumbs up, thumbs down people.
Okay.
So
Keep going.
Ebert had a saying that no good movie is too long and no bad movie is too short. Basically
Okay.
said so basically what that means is everything needs to be as long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
So if you have a really good season of television, it could be 50 episodes and it wouldn't matter as long as every episode was really good and good quality and
Hmm.
was enjoyable. Whereas if you hated every episode, obviously 50 episodes is going to be too long. And so there's a scale that goes in between that where if something is okay, you're willing to watch it for a little bit longer than you would be if
Yeah.
it was bad. But there comes a point where it's just okay enough to get you so far. And I
Yeah.
think that's what should determine how long these seasons are, is how long how long does the story that I want to tell need to be. And so
Yeah, but
we
you
can
and
have
I
some
both
things that are
know that that's not how
13 and
that
we can have
works. Yeah.
yeah, no, of course
because
not.
because
But
because the studios goes like, okay, you have to make this many episodes, and the writers just kind of have to fill in,
it's so stupid because in the world of streaming, who
Yeah.
cares? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you could have a limited series that's like 6 episodes that's only one season,
Yeah.
and then they can move and then that's it. But American television doesn't work that way. That's common in like the rest of the world. For and even here we used to have like special events that were on TV that were just like 6 episodes or 3 episodes of something like it.
Yeah.
When the original It was on the air, it was a
Yeah.
special TV event. It was three
Or like
episodes, I
V.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I feel like that's something that works, but it doesn't necessarily work for everything. So
So I mean,
there's no
basically every single Marvel show. So like,
yeah. Although I liked Loki. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. I thought
I
it was
feel like
good.
that's the majority of people did like Loki. Uh,
There were a lot of people that were hating on it in the first season. I
well, see, I thought the second season was worse than the first.
really,
I don't know. Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
again, that's a whole conversation we can have
yeah.
about that too.
I
But
don't necessarily disagree, but I still thought it was good. Like I liked it.
I didn't think it was bad. I just think anyway, we're gonna go on a rant or ramble on that. But
that we can
yeah,
have
yeah,
that discussion in a
maybe
few
maybe we'll
weeks.
do
That's
another
something else.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like this episode of Cos. I mean, it
Yeah.
was fun. I mean, it felt I think it felt.
Mhm.
There wasn't a whole lot going on. But it was still a fun ride, regardless. Things kind of slow down a little bit, even though we get a new Zord. It felt like things kind of slow down a little bit here, which in a season that's just go 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 go. It was nice to kind of be able to breathe for a second.
Right.
But
But we also know that as the midway point, um, this episode felt like a midway point too, because at the end they have the thrusters in the ship. They're able to go back to Earth. They get the message from Amelia's dad about
yeah,
uh Hobby and
their
what's her name?
parents, yeah, well, Izzy's
Their
parent,
parents
yeah,
being in jail. Izzy parents being in jail, and Amelia's mom ready to pop with the new baby.
yeah,
I thought that was an interesting turn of phrase there. I was like,
yeah. You
all
know
right,
what?
something else I
Oh,
thought was funny. When they were on stage as the band and they got caught, uh, as they were moving away, as they were like all like moving together, you could see Amelia for a quick second take whatever instrument it was that she had or whatever it was that she was holding
yeah.
and gently, very gently putting it down on the ground to and I saw her go like.
That's funny.
And like I don't know if that was like a character thing, or if that was Hunter Gino being like, "Fuck, is that gonna fall?"
Yeah, no, that's pretty funny. But yeah, that pretty much concludes our discussion for this week's episode. We got Thomas Franco in the chat. How's it going? Won't be able to watch in the next couple of streams. We'll be out of the country. Be back for 12 days.
That's
Well, good luck with that, Thomas Franco.
I mean, that just sounds like an excuse to me.
What was that? Oh yeah. Well, hey, yeah. Is there no Ranger wrap up stream in the other country? Where are you going?
I mean, YouTube exists everywhere. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. But good luck out there, Thomas Franco travels. But yeah, that concludes that. But
do we have a teaser of next week?
Well, yeah. Well, no, we still got more to talk about. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, with the next week's episode of Power Rangers, like, do we what was this leading into? Because I don't remember what episode 6 was.
There might be a new Ranger.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. There might. I don't know. There might. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm trying to spoil. Everybody freaking knows already.
And you already talked about the episode on the first new episode of the Ranger wrap up.
So yeah, there might be an Orange Ranger. I don't know. I guess. So stay tuned for that next week. That'll be a fun discussion. But yeah. Power Rangers is over, guys.
For now.
So yeah, for now.
For the foreseeable future.
So what other shows are we supposed to watch? I'm basic. I know what I want, and so I've been watching Super Sentai. Oh, we got an image there. I watched all the way through Juden Sentai Kyoryuger here recently.
I have no idea what that is.
That's Dino Charge.
Okay.
Beast Power Squadron Dinosaur Ranger is what it translates to.
That tracks.
Yeah. And it was a really fun season. I started watching it because the Kyoryuger, it's the 10-year anniversary of Kyoryuger, and they guest starred in the most recent Sentai, Osama Sentai King Oger.
I recognize those costumes.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, hey, I'll check out Q Ranger and Kyoryuger, and then maybe once King Oger's done, I'll check out King Oger, because the suits on King Oger look awesome.
I know Bryn Darby, he's really into that show.
Yeah. And the image we have up right now is Jacka. That's the second season of Super Sentai. I've also been watching that. Jacka's pretty lame.
I was gonna say, just from looking at that picture, I could tell that it was not current.
Yeah. Shay, you kind of jumped the gun, buddy. Our producers, yeah. I didn't say to put up that next image yet. He jumped the gun there. That everybody, it's not his fault. He doesn't get paid enough to do this crap, but that's okay.
He's getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, that's okay though. But yeah, Kyoryuger is a lot of fun. It's a really it's not super story heavy. There's story there, but it's not. It's mostly.
Were they?
You're just there to have a good time.
Were they based off of cards?
So that's Jaka. I don't know why Shay. God, you still got the wrong image up. Damn it!
Oh.
But
so okay. Well, for that
Jaka,
one, they're based off of playing cards.
Jaka is based off of playing cards. Yes. But my major complaint about them is that they don't really do anything with at all. Like whenever they first show up, like cards show up on the bad guy, but their powers and their weapons don't really have anything to do with cards.
Yeah, the car has like the card logos on it.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Well, and then also in Jaka, like they're basically the Rangers for like 2 seconds of each episode. Like they're barely like fighting ever in their costumes. They're mostly in their civilian attire or whatever, because they're like secret agents, cyborg kind of people. And the nation is literally just known as crime.
It's like what was it in Get Smart, the enemy organization was just chaos.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. But yeah, like Jaka, I mean, they're really like Kyoryuger had a story, you know, and but I mean, like it wasn't a huge one. I mean, there was definitely story there, especially at the end. But you know, I think Kyoryuger, you just watch that if you kind of want to have a fun time. You know, Jaka, there's nothing there. Like there is literally like they're the Rangers, and then they fight the bad guys, and that's it. You know, there's nothing else there. And Naka was the second season. It almost immediately killed because they had Go Ranger, which was a huge success. And then they had Jaka. And then basically they completely like changed up the show like 3 times because like nobody was watching it. Um, I I watching it just purely out of curiosity and because it's the shortest Sentai. It's only 35 episodes. Most seasons are 50. Um, uh, and I knew it wasn't going to be great, you know, just because of the history of it, you know. But
Yeah,
I did really enjoy Kyoryuger. I honestly I think Kyoryuger is a great season for somebody just looking into to jump into Super Sentai. I think Kyoryuger would be actually a really good season to start on for people because it's easy going. There's not like a whole bunch going on, but there's enough to keep you captivated and interested.
right,
Um,
right.
it's a very
Um,
easygoing show.
so that's interesting. I'm going to segue into something else that I think people should watch. I know we kind of
Yeah.
discussed this a little bit earlier, but this ties in really good. Do you know who's doing the voice of Lord Zed currently?
I don't know how to say his name, but Fred
Yeah,
T. Fred,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm honestly I'm not sure. I think it's like Tatascure,
Shore something.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not 100% sure how it's pronounced, but he does a voice of a character called Shax in Star Trek Lower Decks, which is it's an animated Star Trek comedy. If you don't know anything about Star Trek, it's funny, but you're gonna miss a lot of the references. But on on Netflix now, coming soon is season 1 of Star Trek Prodigy,
We
which
got an
is
image of that Shay.
it's basically, I think, a good intro point for kids who might be
Yeah.
interested in like sci-fi type stuff, because it all the characters on the show, with the exception of a few, are kids, teenagers. Um,
Hmm.
it takes place it takes place inside Star Trek continuity, but it takes place outside of the main storyline. So
Yeah.
while there's references to other things that have happened in Star Trek, you could go in with a very minimal knowledge of what Star Trek is about and more or less understand everything that's happening here.
Hmm.
Um, and it's fun. It's really fun. But as we were talking about before, with studios making stupid decisions, Paramount Plus canceled the
Yep.
show
Yep.
before season 2 even went to air, but it was
And
already
they made the
paid
whole thing,
for.
right?
And
Yep. Yep.
yeah, season 2 is completely done, and it's now going to Netflix too. Um,
Cool.
one of the showrunners has made it known that depending on how these first 2 seasons do and perform on Netflix, that it's possible that Netflix might order additional seasons. These are and the people who did the animation for it, and a lot of the people running things behind the scenes on the creative side too, are the come from the team that did Troll Hunters and Legends of
Okay. Yep.
Arcadia and all that kind of stuff. So if you liked those, I think you would really like these, and this is a good place to start.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I've also you don't write, do you? Like I mean, not like obviously you write like news and journalism
Yeah.
type stuff, but like creative writing. Like
I
do you do that kind
do
of stuff? You
actually.
do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
recently I got into the frame of mind where I want to start writing again.
Mhm.
I really haven't done it much since graduating college. I've like poked around here and there with stuff, but nothing really major. But recently, I got into animes that are specifically about people who were summoned into a different world and now have superpowers in this new dimension or world that they're in, and they go and they do stuff that are meant for people that have superpowers. They become adventurers or whatever.
A specific subgenre of anime.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, have you seen Sword Art Online?
I know. Yeah, I think I watched. I think I actually did watch some of it as in middle school. But
okay,
yeah.
So with Sword Art Online, it's a video game, but
Yes.
it's the same kind of premise. They put on the headset. It's almost like Ready Player One, but they get stuck in Ready Player One because if they take off the headset, they're going to die. So they have to stay in there until they defeat the dungeon, the highest level in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Other animes that are out there are in the same vein are sort of similar to that, but rather than getting stuck in a video game, they actually get stuck in a completely different universe or whatever. Like one of the recent ones on Crunchyroll that I watched was like Reborn as a Vending Machine, Now I Wander the Dungeon, and it's about this guy.
That sounds freaking awesome.
It's about this dude who was a fan of vending machines and ended up getting killed by one and was reincarnated in a new universe as a sentient vending machine. It's stupid.
You know what? Good for him, man.
But it's great. So I've been watching that kind of stuff, and that got me thinking. Okay, if I wanted to make a westernized, Americanized version of this type of show, how would I do it? What would I do?
Yeah.
So I started watching more of them, and as I started watching more of them, I was like, "This is really stupid. I need to find another one." And so I've just been watching those, and they're weird. But if you like weird stuff, Power Rangers kind of fits.
Rangers.
Power Rangers kind of fits into that, and I think a lot of people would enjoy some of those stuff. Some of them get like a little weird and creepy though. Like I don't
imagine.
I don't necessarily like. I get that it's more of a cultural thing for that kind of stuff in Japan. Not that Japanese people are weird and creepy. Just that just that
I didn't think that's what you were saying.
their media is more open to that than people here are.
I mean, that's something that I noticed while watching Super Sentai. Some of our differences there. Because I was watching a few episodes, especially Jaka. Like there's this episode where the Green Ranger, Club King, he gets hit by this car, but with a family and whatever. And he's fine because he's a cyborg, and then they're like, oh my god,
of course,
okay, right. Whatever. And he's like, yes, I'm fine, whatever, don't even worry about it. And then he sees this little girl, and he has this like really weird bond with this little girl or whatever, and they're getting ready to go on this vacation or whatever. And so he's like, okay, and they he just, I don't know, like plays with the girl for like a second and then leaves. But then he has this somewhat like attachment to this girl. But then the plane takes off, and then the bad guys literally like get this laser and shoot down the plane with this little girl and their family inside, and then that's what the episode is about. Like this is like what?
That sounds so
like, and I guess the Green Ranger in the past lost his family in a plane crash, and then that was, so they were really wondering back in 1978 how come they couldn't market to kids.
That might be why. Well, there was also, wasn't there like actually wasn't in the season that Turbo was based on, that wasn't like the kid Ranger, the kid in that one, wasn't he kind of skeezy?
So Car Ranger didn't have a kid in it. None of them were actually kids.
There was one. Someone was telling me about one of the seasons where one of the guys on the team was kind of sexist and kind of creepy, like that.
Oh, that's you're talking about Jetman. Yeah, that's Guy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Black Ranger, I think. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that could be characters. but Guy is the one that comes to mind there. Yeah, he goes through an arc.
Yeah, there's another one. One of the other ones that I was watching is called "Am I Actually the Strongest?" It's about this guy who's like he was like a mid-30s dude who gets killed, gets reincarnated in this other world as a newborn baby who gets abandoned by his family because he doesn't have enough magical power or whatever.
Okay.
Uh, but then like some like demon wolf thing finds him in the woods, and
Mhm.
he's as he was sitting there like abandoned by the family that he was born into. He's figuring out how to use his magical powers, and as
Mhm.
like this newborn baby, he just like levitates himself out of the basket that they left him in, and does this like whole like grand like I am the master of blah, whatever. I'm like, this is great. This is
Yeah.
exactly what I would do in that situation. I'd be this baby who would now be like this demon lord type thing. Like
Honestly,
it's just
next year I'm trying to watch more TV. This year and last year I focused really hard on movies, but next year I'm trying to catch up on some TV shows I've been trying a while. But yeah, give me some names of those because I think I would actually like really be
maybe
into those.
maybe I should make a list. Like maybe
Yeah.
I'll tweet out I'll either tweet out a list later, or I can make a video, maybe, um about these. But they're just, my thing with them is they're just stupid. So I can just
Yes, and I love that kind of stuff. Yeah.
it's the kind of thing where like at first I turned it on as just like background noise while I was working
Yeah.
on stuff for my day job or working on stuff for the Illuminerdi or whatever. It would just be on behind me. But then eventually I would find myself just
Yeah.
like doing one of those, and
Yeah.
got stuck watching them. And it's just
Yeah.
it's so weird, just like how dumb they are, but how much I enjoy watching them because of that.
Yeah, listen, man. I mean, Army of Darkness is one of my favorite movies ever. So you know I love stupid crap.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I think I'll really enjoy that. But we got Sam Snoswell in the chat. He says I'm a big fan of Kamen Rider. I hope they do an adaptation called Power Rider or just stay as Kamen Rider. Yeah, Kamen Rider I think would be a great series for people to watch too if they're kind of missing out on
I
Power Rangers here
see,
lately.
and that's another thing. Like I know of Common Rider,
Yeah.
but I'm not familiar with it. Like if you showed me a costume, I'd be like, I know that, but I won't be able to tell you
Yeah.
what it was from.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been interested. I just really have just struggled to get into Kamen Rider for whatever reason. Rider Wizard really interests me. I think just because the costume looks so cool and the powers
Which
are neat.
do you know who Stephen Ford is?
Oh yeah. He played the lead in Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. That was so they basically did in 2008 they made Kamen Rider Dragon Knight which was an adaptation of Yuki on the CW. Yeah, and it was really weird. I mean, yeah, it was a
Is
thing
it
that
worth
happened,
watching?
and
Because like
yeah, it's
I
great.
follow him on Twitter. Like I know he was in like Teen Wolf and like some other
Yeah,
popular things. But like I feel like if I was going to watch something in the Kamen Rider universe, that would probably be where I
yeah.
would
It
have to
was.
start.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically like Power Rangers on the CW. you know, I thought it was. I watched it whenever it came out. Whenever I was a kid, I was probably around 7 or 8. Whenever that came out. But yeah, I really enjoyed it as a kid. Unfortunately there's absolutely nowhere to watch it legally. So you're gonna have to find it somewhere. But yeah, it was really cool. Whenever I was a kid. But yeah, and then
I'll
there's
have to look
also
for it.
the Kamen Rider seasons, the original Japanese seasons. Some of them are on Tubi. So there's various ways to watch that. And then Sam Soswell also says Power Rangers Rail Riders next year, 2024. Power Rangers Beast Hunter. I wish. I think he's referring to like he wants Tokuger or Zyuohger to be adapted to Super Sentai seasons that were skipped. I think Tokuger is actually pretty cool. It was the train Super Sentai. I wish we would have gotten to seen it. Unfortunately, man, I just don't. There's Power Rangers anything besides the comics in 2024. I mean, we would have had to have heard about it by now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, and just with the writer strike and the actor strike that just ended
yeah,
because they've moved production back stateside, now everyone is going to have to be union to work on it.
yeah,
So I'm sure that's going to change up a lot of things for them too, and how they do the productions.
But yeah, I think unless you have anything else to add, Josh, I think that kind of wraps
Um,
things up for today.
I don't think so. Like the only other thing that I can think of that I would recommend, just because the season 4 just premiered on Apple TV. If you're into like more hard sci-fi stuff and less of the not less of the cartoony, but if you also enjoy hard sci-fi, things like The Expanse or Battlestar Galactica and things like that, there's a show on Apple TV called For All Mankind, which I think is one of my favorite shows that's on TV right now. It is an alternate history show, sort of like The Man in the High Castle was, but in this, the first season is back in the 60s,
Okay.
um, when we were in the middle of the space race. But instead of the United States winning and getting to the moon first, the Russians get to the moon first.
Yeah, called it. Yeah.
So with that happening, it completely changes how the rest of the world reacts to that, and
Yeah.
the space race just never ended. So each
Okay.
season is in a new decade. So like season 2,
So it's a much
what
cooler world.
it really is. Like it's interesting. It's interesting to watch because like you can see how technology. Obviously, we got a lot of our technology from the space program,
Yeah.
building stuff that they were like, oh, this would be great for consumers too. Like
Yeah.
Tang came from the space program. Uh, but each season is a different decade. So season
Okay.
1 went up through like the
Cool.
early 70s. Season 2 was in the 80s. Season 3 was in the 90s, and now season 4 is in the 2000s.
It's pretty
So
neat.
if there's a season 5, they'd be starting to actually catch up with us in real time. And some of the characters stay, and you follow them through the beginning all the way up through now. And it's really interesting. It's really well done. Joel Kinnaman is the lead. He was in the first season
He's
of Altered
from
Carbon,
Suicide Squad, right?
Suicide Squad. He was Rick Flag.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
the new RoboCop. Don't watch the new RoboCop though.
Okay,
That
cool.
movie was not
He was
good.
great in Suicide Squad.
Yes, he was great in Suicide. Both the Suicide Squad
Yeah.
and Suicide Squad. He was good in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's worth watching.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, I think that wraps things up today. Thank you all so much for watching. Next week, we're going to be covering episode 6. There might be an Orange Ranger. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Or the whole season's out, so I don't know. I guess
You're right.
But yes, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for more of the Ranger wrap up. Peace out.